Every semester, without fail, a student walks into my office and asks, "Sir, what programming language should I learn?" And I always answer the same way. It depends on what kind of pain you're looking for. Because let's be honest, every programming language inflicts a different flavor of suffering. Some are slow. Some are confusing. Some make you question your career choices at 2 a.m. And one of them is PHP. I'm an IT professor, and today I'm going to break down what each popular language is actually for. Not what the documentation says. Not what the fanboys on Twitter claim. But what it really does in the real world. Consider this career counseling, but with more sarcasm. Let's start with Python. Python's purpose is to make you feel like a genius while secretly doing everything at 30% the speed it should. It's the language of AI, data science, and college students who refuse to type curly braces. Python's slogan should be "I'll fix the performance later." Spoiler, you never fix it later. But hey, at least you can build a neural network in 50 lines of code while the C++ guy is still setting up his build system. JavaScript. Oh, JavaScript. Its purpose is to be everywhere and resented by everyone who has to debug it. It runs in your browser, your server, your smart fridge, and your car, and somehow it's equally confusing in all of them. JavaScript is the student who joins every organization on campus but never shows up to any of the meetings. It's also the only language where adding two numbers can give you three undefined n. Beautiful. Java. Java's purpose is to be the enterprise language that pays your mortgage while slowly extracting your will to live. It's verbose, it's everywhere, and it's the reason you have 47 design patterns memorized even though you've only used 3 of them in production. Java is the corporate middle manager of programming languages. It shows up, it files TPS reports, and it refuses to innovate because that's not how we do things here. And then there's C. C is the grandpa language that built everything you use today, your operating system, your browser, your dignity. It demands respect. It also demands you manually manage memory like it's 1972 and you're at a typewriter. C is the professor who's been teaching since before you were born, grades on a curve so brutal it should be illegal, and refuses to use PowerPoint because overhead projectors were good enough for my students. One wrong pointer and your program doesn't just crash, it crashes the entire computer. That's power. And terror. Let's talk about C++. C++ is what happens when you give C way too much coffee and let it cook for 40 years. It can do literally anything, which is exactly the problem. It has 50 ways to initialize a variable. It has templates that look like someone had a stroke on the keyboard. C++ is the student who answers a yes or no question with a 45-minute explanation that somehow involves the Roman Empire. Rust. Rust is the new kid who shows up and tells everyone they've been doing it wrong. It promises memory safety without garbage collection, and it delivers, at the cost of making you fight the borrow checker for 3 hours just to print "Hello World." Rust is the honors student who corrects the professor, questions the syllabus, and submits their code with a peer review attached. But you know what? The code is solid. Annoying, but solid. Go is the language Google made because even Google got tired of C++ compile times. It's simple, it's fast, it's boring, and that's the point. Go is the student who gets a clean A, doesn't tell anyone, and goes home at 5 p.m. You can't hate Go. But you also can't get excited about it. It's the beige sedan of programming languages. TypeScript is JavaScript with a helmet and knee pads. It's what happens when JavaScript looks in the mirror and says, "I have a problem." TypeScript adds types to JavaScript, which sounds great until you realize JavaScript's type system is held together with duct tape and hopes. TypeScript is the student who went to therapy, started journaling, and now corrects your grammar. Better? Yes. More annoying? Also yes. Let's speed through the rest because I know you have packages to install. PHP. PHP's purpose is to make you grateful for every other language you've ever used. It powers 70% of the web and 100% of the bad decisions made by junior developers in 2005. PHP is the student who somehow passed all their exams but you have no idea how. Swift is Apple's language for iOS development. It's modern, it's safe, it's fast, and it only runs on Apple hardware. Swift is the student who shows up with a MacBook Pro, an iPad, an iPhone, an Apple Watch, and AirPods, and says I'm a developer. Great ecosystem. Terrible gatekeeping. Kotlin is what Java would be if Java went to the gym, got a haircut, and started a podcast. It's fully interoperable with Java, which means you can slowly migrate your legacy codebase one file at a time while pretending you're modern. Kotlin is the student who says I'm not like the other Java developers but still uses the same IDE. SQL. Technically not a programming language, but we have to mention it because every app needs a database and nobody wants to learn SQL until their ORM breaks at 3 a.m. SQL is the student who does all the actual work while everyone else takes the credit. R is a language designed by statisticians, for statisticians, and it looks like it. It's the language where your data visualization looks beautiful but your code looks like someone spilled alphabet soup on the keyboard. R is the student who has incredible insights but can't explain any of them. COBOL. COBOL is still running in banks, insurance companies, and government systems. If you learn COBOL, you will never be unemployed. You will also never be happy. COBOL is the tenured professor who refuses to retire, and the department can't fire them because they're the only one who knows how the payroll system works. So what's the verdict? Every language has a purpose. Python for prototyping. JavaScript for world domination. Rust for when you actually care about safety. C++ for when you hate yourself a little. And COBOL for when you want job security through the apocalypse. But here's what I actually tell my students at the end of the semester. Don't marry a language. Learn the concepts, variables, control flow, data structures, algorithms, design patterns. The syntax changes every 5 years. The logic stays. A good programmer from 1990 can learn Rust in a week. A bad programmer who only knows React hooks will be obsolete in 5 years. Also, and I cannot stress this enough, don't put 10x developer in your LinkedIn bio. Nobody who's actually a 10x developer has ever said that. Real 10x developers are too busy fixing the production database at 2 a.m. I'm an IT professor. Subscribe for the stuff your syllabus doesn't cover, and may your semicolons always be in the right place.